Harper Audio presents No Man's Land by Simon Tolkien, read by Stephen Crossley. Part 1. Childhood. I cannot think of any need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. Sigmund Freud, Civilization and Its Discontents, 1929. Chapter 1. Islington, London, 1900. The first world Adam knew was the street. It came to him through his senses without mental dilution, filling up his head with sounds and smells and images that he couldn't begin to unravel. Lying in bed at night with his eyes closed, he could see Punch and Judy bludgeoning each other with rolling pins just as if they were right there in front of him. Down they went and up they came, again and again, gluttons for punishment. He knew that Benson, the rag-and-bone man with the blue scar across his chin, was pulling the strings behind the tattered red curtain, but that didn't make the garishly painted puppets any less real. Just thinking about them made him laugh until his insides hurt, in the same way that he laughed years later in the bioscope when he saw Charlie Chaplin, with his bow legs and stick and black moustache, marching confidently up the road towards his next disaster. For a long time there was no cinema in Islington where they lived. There didn't need to be. The street was a complete world, turning on its axis to the sound of the waltzes that flew up on 1,000 notes out of the brightly painted barrel organ as the bald-headed grinder methodically turned the handle, looking neither to right nor left. He was solemn and sad, and apparently unconnected to everything around him, even his monkey, which had a blue cap on its head, with a tassel that bobbed up and down as it jumped around with the collection box. Sometimes the children danced to the music, weaving around each other in elaborate patterns, watching their feet to keep clear of the leaking tar and the horse manure. Some of them had no shoes, and the tar was hard to get off the skin. You had to use margarine, and even that didn't always work. The street was familiar and exotic all at the same time, a maelstrom of life. The muffin man carried his wares in a tray balanced on the top of his head. It swayed as he walked, but it never fell. The fishmonger wheeled a barrow, and if he dared to look inside, the dead black eyes of the cod staring up out of the white crystal ice made Adam shiver. And the flycatcher wore a tall black hat with long strips of sticky paper fastened to it, all covered with dead insects, calling out dolefully as he passed, "Flies! Flies! Catch them alive!" On Saturday nights in summer, Adam could look out of his bedroom window and see Baxter, the fat butcher, in his blood-stained, greasy-white apron, standing in the doorway of his shop, lit up by the flare of a paraffin lamp, shouting out to the worse-for-wear men leaving the Cricketers' Arms on the corner, "Buy me leg! Buy me leg!" It was because the poor man couldn't afford to keep the meat cold overnight, Adam's father told him. By morning, it would be good for nothing. And once a month, 2 bent-over old men came slowly up the street pushing a small cart with long handles from which they sold solid blocks of salt. "Any salt, please, lady?" they asked in their sing-song, foreign-sounding voices, holding up the white salt in their black fingerless gloves like an offering. Sometimes Adam's mother bought from them, and sometimes she did not. It depended on whether there was any money in the house. Adam's mother Lillian believed in God, but Adam's father Daniel Raine did not. He believed in something else instead, called socialism, which Adam didn't understand until later, even though his father tried to explain it to him sometimes. Adam's mind wasn't yet ready for abstract concepts. God was different. He couldn't see God, of course, but he could feel his presence in the high-fluted arches of the Holy Martyr Church with the soaring white spire that he went to with his mother on Sunday mornings. God, as Adam pictured him, had a huge head and a white snowy beard, and he lived up above the grey London clouds, gazing down at his creation with big eagle eyes. He was surrounded by a throng of ancient saints.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?